Please do not twist yourself into shapes to please. Don't do it. If someone likes that version of you that is false and holds back, then they actually just like a twisted shape and not you. And the world is such a gloriously multifaceted, diverse place that there are people in the world who will like you, the real you, as you are. I'm truly, truly happy to be here today. I'm so happy to be here, in fact, that when I found out your class color was yellow, I decided I would wear yellow eyeshadow. But on second thoughts, I realized that much as I admire Wellesley, even yellow eyeshadow was a bit too much of a gesture. So I dug out this yellowish head wrap instead. So speaking of eyeshadow, I wasn't very interested in makeup until I was in my 20s, which is when I began to wear makeup because of a man, a loud, unpleasant man. He was one of the guests at a friend's dinner party in Lagos. I was also a guest. I was about 23, but people often told me I looked 12. The conversation at dinner was about traditional Igbo culture, about the custom that allows only men to break the kola nut. And the kola nut is a deeply symbolic part of Igbo cosmology. I argued that it would be better if that honor were based on achievement rather than gender. And this man looked at me and said dismissively, "You don't know what you're talking about, you're a small girl." I wanted him to disagree with the substance of my argument, but by looking at me, young and female, it was easy for him to dismiss what I said. So I decided to try and look older, and I thought lipstick might help, and eyeliner. And I'm very grateful to that man because I have since come to love makeup and its wonderful possibilities for temporary transformation. So I've not told you this anecdote as a way to illustrate my discovery of gender injustice. If anything, it's really just an ode to makeup. It's really just to say that this, your graduation, is a good time to buy some lipsticks. If makeup is your sort of thing. Because a good shade of lipstick can always put you in a slightly better mood on dark days. So that story is not about my discovering gender injustice, because of course I had discovered it years before, from childhood, from watching the world. I knew that men were not inherently bad or evil. They were merely privileged. And I knew that privilege blinds, because it is the nature of privilege to blind. I knew this from personal experience, from the class privilege I had of growing up in an educated family, that it sometimes blinded me, that I was not always as alert to the nuances of people who were different from me. And you, because you now have your beautiful Wellesley degree, have become privileged, no matter what your background. That degree and the experience of being here is a privilege. Don't let it blind you too often. Sometimes you will need to push it aside in order to see clearly. When I was growing up in Nigeria, I was expected, as every student who did well was expected, to become a doctor. Deep down, I knew that what I really wanted to do was to write stories. But I did what I was supposed to do, and I went into medical school. I told myself that I would tough it out and become a psychiatrist, and that way I could use my patients' stories for my fiction. But after 1 year of medical school, I fled. I realized I would be a very unhappy doctor, and I really did not want to be responsible for the inadvertent death of my patients. Leaving medical school was a very unusual decision, especially in Nigeria, where it is very difficult to get into medical school. Later, people told me that it had been very courageous of me, but I did not feel courageous at all. What I felt then was not courage, but a desire to make an effort, to try. I could either stay and study something that was not right for me, or I could try and do something different. And so I decided to try. I took the American exams, and I got a scholarship to come to the US, where I could study something that was not related to medicine. Now, it might not have worked out. I might not have been given the American scholarship. My writing might not have ended up being successful. But the point is that I tried. We cannot always bend the world into the shapes we want, but we can try. We can make a concerted and real and true effort. And you are privileged that because of your education here, you have already been given many of the tools that you will need to try. Always just try, because you never know. And so as you graduate, as you deal with your excitement and your doubts today, I urge you to try and create the world you want to live in. Minister to the world in a way that can change it. Minister radically, in a real, active, practical, get your hands dirty way. Wellesley will open doors for you. Walk through those doors and make your strides long and firm and sure. The past 3 weeks have been the most emotionally difficult of my life. My father is 83 years old. He's a retired professor of statistics, a lovely, kind, simple man. I am an absolute daddy's girl. 3 weeks ago, my father was kidnapped near his home in Nigeria. And for a number of days, my family and I went through the kind of emotional pain that I have never known in my life. We were talking to threatening strangers on the phone, begging and negotiating for my father's safety, and we were not always sure if my father was alive. He was released after we paid a ransom. He's well, he's in fairly good shape, and in his usual lovely way, he's very keen to reassure us that he's fine. I'm still not sleeping well. I still wake up many times at night in panic, worried that something else has gone wrong. I still cannot look at my father without fighting tears, without feeling this profound relief and gratitude that he's safe, but also rage that he had to undergo such an indignity to his body and to his spirit. And the experience has made me rethink many things: what truly matters and what doesn't, what I value and what I don't. And as you graduate today, I urge you to think about that a little more. Think about what really matters to you. Think about what you want to really matter to you. So all over the world, girls are raised to make themselves likable, to twist themselves into shapes that suit other people. Please do not twist yourself into shapes to please. Don't do it. If someone likes that version of you that is false and holds back, then they actually just like a twisted shape and not you. And the world is such a gloriously multifaceted, diverse place that there are people in the world who will like you, the real you, as you are. I'm lucky that my writing has given me a platform that I choose to use to talk about things I care about. And I have said a few things that have not been so popular with a number of people. I have been told to shut up about certain things, such as my position on the equal rights of gay people on the continent of Africa, such as my deeply held belief that men and women are completely equal. I don't speak to provoke. I speak because I think our time on earth is short. And each moment that we are not our truest selves, each moment we pretend to be what we are not, each moment we say what we do not mean because we imagine that is what somebody wants us to say, then we are wasting our time on earth. I don't mean to sound precious, but please don't waste your time on earth. And finally, I would like to end with a final note on the most important thing in the world: love. Now, girls are often raised to see love as only given. Women are praised for their love, when that love is an act of giving. But to love is to give and to take. Please love by giving and taking. Give and be given. If you're only giving and not taking, you'll know. You'll know from that small and true voice inside you that we females are so often socialized to silence. Don't silence that voice. Dare to take. Congratulations.